Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Sean Brodrick, senior editor at WeissRatings.com. Welcome back to the show, Sean.
Thanks very much for having me on.
Cannabis stocks, have they taken off?
Oh, yeah. I mean, just a couple days ago, the new Senate Majority Leader, Charles Schumer, said that they were going to move forward with pro-marijuana legislation, and his quote was, within a matter of weeks. So, that doesn't mean full federal legalization. Everyone should calm down about that. But there's the SAFE Act and the MORE Act. The SAFE Act would allow federally insured banks to work with those companies that actually deal with marijuana. That's probably going to pass. That's probably the first one. The MORE Act would reschedule marijuana. It's scheduled in the same kind of drug classification as heroin, which is stupid. And would reclassify it now. That's not the same thing as making it a federally legal drug. It's not the same thing as making it, say, as alcohol. But descheduling it makes it much easier for companies to operate. And so those are probably the two things that are going to work. We're going to see some hemming and hawing. There are certainly many people in Congress and especially in the Senate who are much more conservative than the rest of America, who will wring their hands and talk about the youth of America going to hell and all that stuff. And I understand the concerns. You don't want young people smoking pot. People my age, though. I mean, what have we got to lose, right? So put like a 45-year-old age limit. I don't think it would work, but it would certainly send the right sentiment.
Yeah, I read something once that said they should legalize everything for everybody 65 and older. If you didn't do anything illegal or bad up to that age, it's not going to change your life expectancy.
Right, and also by that point, I can tell you, once you hit 60, your body just starts going downhill. You need something, you know. I mean, maybe they'll do that. We'll see if they legalize it, how much they legalize it. But all this talk, and now the Democrats, with the help of the vice president, have a majority in the Senate. The Senate is split 50-50, but since the vice president cast the tiebreaker vote, then that means the Democrats win, which means that Mitch McConnell, who blocked pro-marijuana years and years and years, just because he's a very cussed person, he gets moved out of the way. So this is something that could be very positive, and that's why we're seeing marijuana stocks generally go higher. I think that if you looked at your portfolio on Wednesday and you had a marijuana stock in there that wasn't going up, it's time to rotate out of that and move into something else. I'm not your stock advisor, but that's just what I would do in my own portfolio.
Because there are so many that are going up. Also, if it's decriminalized or legalized some way in the States, that does open the possibility of cross-border trade between Canada and the U.S. in cannabis.
Well, you can bet that the U.S. marijuana companies would scream bloody murder about that, but eventually, yes. I mean, why not? We can see some small amount of trade around the world between Germany and Canada and stuff like that. So why not between the U.S. and Canada? That makes sense from a free market perspective. Will it actually happen? I don't know. That does raise the aspect, though, of the cannabis that's grown in Colombia, where they can grow it dirt cheap, being exported to the U.S. There are grow houses built in Colombia right now with an eye on that future. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it definitely raises all kinds of profit aspects. There will be winners and losers, but I think that with a little research, you can find some that should be winners.
Yes, internationally, perhaps in 20 years, it'll be like the beer business where there's 3 big companies running most of the beer business for the planet.
Well, let's hope it doesn't come to that because it doesn't help quality. But it could be like soybeans. And again, yeah, you're right. There's like 3 big soybean companies, 3 or 4. So, we'll just see how that goes. But in the shorter term, investors have an opportunity because it's not federally legal yet. Still plenty of people that will not take positions in it. I'm talking big companies that ordinarily would, snap up small cannabis companies in order to get a foot in the space. They aren't doing anything with it, which means now you can get ahead of them. And so that would be a great time to do it. And I'm going to send you a chart. I don't know if you guys can put it up there. It's a chart of the Advisor Shares Pure Cannabis ETF, symbol YOLO. Now, again, don't take stock advice from like someone on the radio, but this just shows this is an ETF that holds a whole bunch of marijuana stocks, and you can see what's going on here. You can pick out your favorites in there, see which ones you like. That's a good place to start. That's all I'm saying.
We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Aben Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Aben's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at abenresources.com.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, is there a lot of action in the electronic vehicle sector?
Oh, is there? We're doing great. I know you guys don't like us to talk about portfolios or individual stocks, but dang, really glad we're in that because that's doing really, really well. I mean, I know people are kind of focused on things like precious metals and GameStop and all that stuff right now, but step back from that where the hooligans on Reddit and the fat cats in the hedge funds are battling with each other about stuff, and just look at what's happening broadly in the market and the big megatrends. There's a big megatrends in electronic vehicles right now. We can see the electrification changeover, much like the changeover that went from horses to cars. Now it's going from internal combustion engines to electronic engines for all sorts of things, not just cars, trucks. Ford is going to roll out its electronic F-150 this year and go into full-scale production next year. They already had a big show where they had EV F-150 tow a locomotive. I mean, these guys are serious. And so now it's not just boutique stuff. Now it's not just Tesla. Now it's GM and Ford and Volkswagen and everybody at the party really diving into this. And so that just means that the upside potential is good. Now, you don't have to buy the big companies, though I don't think they're actually bad bets. As long as they're making a changeover, then they can be part of the future. But there are small companies that almost nobody knows about. And I'm not talking about Neo, which is not one I recommend, because it's just gone from like a very low level to a very, very high level. It could go up higher. I'm not taking a position on it either way. But there's other ones laboring in obscurity that just haven't been noticed by the market yet. What I would do, or what I'm recommending to my subscribers to do, is just pick up a handful of them, spread a little money around in each one, because we don't know which ones will be winners. I mean, we can kind of guess, but we don't really know. But just own a basket of them, because the upside potential in the EV market is just enormous. And at least some of these companies will A, either be winners or else B, be bought out by the winners. And either one is a winning proposition for the person that owns shares of that stock.
Rare earths, you can't have a smartphone without them. Are they picking up?
Yes! I just sent my subscribers a rare earths report, I think it was 2 weeks ago. So glad I did. Dang, those things are going great. And the thing is, Canada, my gosh, you're in Canada. Canada has some great, tiny rare earth stocks. And at least one that's not so tiny that has an operation going on in Quebec, but I don't want to say too much. But, I mean, there is so much potential in the rare earth space, because one thing that's helping now, I mean, you can talk about the long-term supply-demand squeeze all you want, but one thing that's really helping now is the U.S. government, and particularly the Pentagon, has taken a really special interest in this, because you can't build jet fighters and cell phones and other things that the Army needs without rare earths. You need them. And so they're really trying to establish a North American supply chain from the mine through the processing plant. There are rare earths mined in California right now that have to be shipped to China to be processed because we don't have the processing facilities here in the U.S. anymore. You can bet that drives the Pentagon crazy. They are doing the old-fashioned thing of throwing money at problems. God bless them. You know, that's a great position for these little companies to be in, because they say, we would like to build this thing. And the government says, well, here's a chunk of money. Go right ahead. So really good news in that sector. And once the government starts to throw money at a problem, they'll probably continue to throw money at it. So, you know, look for more of that down the road, too.
Sure, they're still trying to make the F-35 work.
Yeah, I know.
And, I don't know, do they have a cannon for it yet? And why do you have to develop a new cannon when we already know what works? But, of course, that's the Pentagon has to reinvent the wheel.
Not started on the F-35 or wasteful Pentagon spending, because I will just rant and froth at the mouth. Let's not even go down that road.
You look cute with froth. We'll have more with Sean Brodrick right after this.
Value from success. Growth in discovery. Golden Arrow Resources is a well-funded gold-copper exploration company with proven management and prospective properties in Chile, Argentina, and Paraguay. Golden Arrow trades on the Toronto Venture Exchange, symbol GRG, on Frankfurt, symbol G6A, and the OTCQB, symbol GARWF. For more information, visit us at goldenarrowresources.com or call Sean at 778-686-0135.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Sean Brodrick. Sean, is there much action in uranium?
There is. It's actually been a very interesting week for uranium. You know, I mean, I like the action there. I am starting to take positions again in uranium because what's happening in the stocks, I mean, we've had our hearts broken so many times in uranium, haven't we, Jim? It's really hard to tell anybody to buy now, considering what's happened in the past. But dang if these things don't look good right now. They really do. The volume is the thing that's convincing me. You know, I mean, we are starting to see bullish volume pick up in some very nice ways. They're still well off the peaks they hit, even earlier this year. So when we had a brief surge in like early January. But, so most of them are like well off those peaks. But I'm like watching that industry, and I think, you can make some moves now. Don't bet the farm, you know, but, certainly pick up a few names and, put some money in there so that when and if they do blast off, you can say, hey, I was holding that when that went up 300%, you know? So, I think it's a space people should be looking at. It's one I'm looking at. I think it could have a great 2021. There are two things that happened. One is that, we had this awful pandemic, which not only affected, you know, school teachers and people at home and like all that stuff, but it also affected mining. Mines had to shut down, including uranium mines, including, for example, chemicals mines in Canada. So that really put a pinch on supply. And another pinch on supply is Japan's now restarting 2 of its reactors, and who knows what they'll do next. They probably won't restart all of them, but they really need nuclear power as a bridge. They just need it because otherwise they can't make the transition to the future. So the Japanese were selling uranium into the market. Now they're not going to do that anymore. So all sorts of supply that might have been there is now delayed, or, we don't know till when, probably not forever, but at least for a while. In the meantime, the big utilities are looking around saying, we really should stock up. We've been putting off because we've always been able to buy cheaper in the spot market, but we haven't been able to buy cheaper in the spot market for a while. They will want to lock in prices sooner or later. That's what everyone's waiting for the utilities to really act. Will that happen? I think they will. It could be this year, and certainly uranium stocks look good. And that's another thing where the U.S. government is throwing money at problems, because we get so much of our uranium from shady folks overseas that we'd really rather not do business with. The U.S. was once a major uranium producer. It could be again. The government is throwing money at that problem, and so that's good news for some very specific companies in that area.
Sean, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Hey, it's always fun. Thank you.
My guest has been Sean Brodrick, Senior Editor at WeissRatings.com. If you have any questions for Sean or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@HowStreet.com, our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. Find us on Twitter @HowStreet. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HowStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HowStreet.com radio is a production of HowStreet Media Incorporated.